Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Leach back here with another reaction video. Make sure y'all hit that sub button, turn them noties on, and make sure y'all follow the socials on screen. Much appreciated. I give thanks to the man above for another day. God bless. I love y'all, man. And yeah, let's get right into it. We got some breaking news out of Baltimore. The Ravens are hiring Chargers defense coordinator Jesse Minter as their next head coach.
The Ravens
so another head
announcing
coaching
that they
job.
have hired Jesse Minter, who's been the defensive coordinator with the Chargers, and he has experience in Baltimore with the Ravens. He was an assistant under John Harbaugh from 2017 to 2020. He then joined Jim Harbaugh's staff at Michigan as defensive coordinator before taking the same role with the Chargers in 2024. Let's get our Jonathan Jones in here. JJ, help us make sense of this, because they move on from John Harbaugh, but now they're bringing back one of his former assistants, and he's a defensive guy. And we were under the impression, and you've reported, that Lamar Jackson was going to have a lot of input. Do you believe he had input on this?
I do think that he had some form of input on.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson definitely had input on the head coaching, who he wanted, bro. Like, you know, it was kind of really his decision. Like, obviously it was the organization's decision, but, like, you got to make Lamar happy, because Lamar, you know, he's been kind of pissed off. I ain't gonna lie. Like, he's kind of showed that. So, he's definitely a big part of this.
We still are waiting to see what exactly Jesse Minter's offensive plan is going to be. The names that will trickle out for offensive coordinator. We'll hear more about those, I'm sure, as time moves along. But not a surprise that it's Jesse Minter with the Baltimore Ravens, especially when you consider the recent history, right? Just 2 years ago, Mike Macdonald seemed to be the next guy up with Baltimore, and the Seattle Seahawks struck, and they went and got him as their head coach. Now look at where Seattle is, just one game away from the Super Bowl with Mike Macdonald. And so the Ravens, after moving on from John Harbaugh, perhaps they had another Mike Macdonald in the building very recently.
Y'all just need to calm
Jesse
down, bro.
Minter. And then, of course, he goes on to the LA Chargers and has incredible success there. I think 5th in yards allowed, 9th in points allowed. And so they say, yeah, we want that guy. Young, right? This is a young franchise, having moved to Baltimore. So I think this is only the 4th head coach that they've ever had. Of course, Harbaugh being there for 18. So I think this is only the 4th.
He averaged, on their defense, 324.4 yards per game. I mean, solid numbers for Jesse Minter and Los Angeles.
That they've ever had, of course, Harbaugh being there for 18
defense
years.
coordinator.
So they want someone that they can
head
grow
coach
with. And
is a big transition.
This is something that I think this is the first
Ravens
time
got a lot of
we've seen
talent,
in this
bro.
cycle, Chris, where the guy's not a former head coach. We have 3 former NFL head coaches.
Still got that playoff
former college football head coach at Boston College, and now we have our first timer in Jesse Minter going to the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, how do you make sense of his rise at 42 years old now? Mostly a college assistant coach, but did have
that Chargers defense was
with
good.
The Baltimore Ravens,
but Justin Herbert,
2017 to 2020.
not even
how
to
much
bring
do you
him
think
up,
that
he
had to do with this current Ravens regime going back to him and plucking him out of LA?
I think it had a lot to do with it. And when you look at the teams that are in the Final Four of this playoff tournament in the NFL, they have pretty good defenses. Some of them have pretty great defenses, right? So defenses, the old adage goes, wins championships. So the Baltimore Ravens feel that if we get a guy who's going to be able to coordinate a defense better than most, if not all, then we're going to have opportunities. So long as we have the MVP candidate and Lamar Jackson at quarterback, you got a couple more years left of Derrick Henry. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, but he got Zay
a couple
Flowers
years ago,
bro.
Chris, the idea was you want to get an offensive.
See, that's what the Ravens really need to do, bro. They need to get someone else.
Teams are going to come pluck him, and then you're going to be left
Zay Flowers
every other year trying to fill a very important position on your coaching
staff.
They
got,
and then what we saw
receiving-wise,
this past year, really the last 2 years, is we just want to find the best coach. We want to find the best leader of men. We want to find the best guy who can fill out the best staff, and we'll figure out the rest. And that is, I think, is what we are seeing with the Baltimore Ravens. I had been told, as Jesse Minter pulled out of the Cleveland Browns search recently, and that may have been this morning, may have been last night, but either way, he had to decide between the Ravens and the Raiders. And so that was sort of the last team that was in the mix for Jesse Minter. And obviously he opted for Lamar Jackson for stability, continuity, and going back to what is familiar for him, having coached there a couple years ago.
Look, for Lamar Jackson to get over the hump, I would imagine that he would want a guy that he knows and could work well with as an offensive coordinator. Do you have any names out there that you think are in the running for this job?
Yeah, we'll still see. I mean, obviously, Lamar Jackson had a great working relationship with Todd Monken. It certainly seems that Todd Monken is either a candidate for the Cleveland Browns head coaching job or joining John Harbaugh in New York with the Giants. So I can't imagine that he would be a candidate to return to Baltimore. Crazier things have happened in the NFL. We've had 10 openings this cycle, a bunch of really great coaches who have been fired. So why can't someone do this right here? You know, you look around, Cliff Kingsbury is still looking for a job. Matt Nagy still looking for a job at offensive coordinator. You know, Brian Daboll, obviously a top candidate with the Buffalo Bills at head coach, but he's a hot name at offensive coordinator. Joe Brady, hot name at offensive coordinator. He doesn't get the Buffalo head coach coordinator. Joe Brady, hot name at offensive coordinator. He doesn't get the Buffalo offensive coordinator. Joe Brady, hot name at offensive coordinator. He doesn't get the Buffalo head coaching job. So plenty of quality offensive-minded coaches who are out there who can be OCs.
Yeah, plus Lamar was banged up this year. Maybe I should
Lamar Jackson that Jesse Minter can work with. And so we'll certainly see as these days roll along who his guy ultimately is.
All right, the Ravens have announced it. Jesse Minter is their new head coach coming over from the Chargers, and a coach who has experience in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson, even though he's on the defensive side of the ball, was with Lamar 2017 through 2020. And as Jonathan Jones just pointed out, it's the first time head coach that we have
head coaching
filling it out. It's the first
quick. But that's gonna do it. The Baltimore Ravens get their man, head coach Jesse Minter. You know, defensive minded. You know, he's really good with the Chargers. Now he's gonna be go be the head coach for the Ravens. You know, let me know in the comment section down below. What do y'all think about this? Like I said, I think it's a pretty solid signing. I give it a B. But, like I said, Lamar Jackson, a playoff choker. This shit don't change nothing. They still need weapons. Like, Zay Flowers ain't gonna get you a Super Bowl. They need playmakers out there, bro. I mean, you know, you got Andrews, but, like, he kind of aging. Obviously, Derrick Henry, but yeah, they got to work on the receiving room. I think their O-line defense is fine. And yeah, but yeah, make sure y'all follow the socials on screen. It'd be much appreciated. I love y'all, and about peace.